Hi, this is Wing again, and I'm sharing with you my experience with a God in the dimensional existence. Now, this was also close to the beginning, about 4 months after I'd gone out of my body, and we were busy establishing what was really going on in existence beyond this one. And I'd gone through many travels, lots, and finding out everything. I was so curious, so I did everything. I tried everything. I went and met many beings, different races on different planets, interdimensionally. There were even planets here on Earth, like cities on Earth, that existed in a different frequency. It was fascinating. Like this one planet, where when you swim in the water, now this is all interdimensional placement, so when you swim in the water, the water like moves through your entire being and you cleanse yourself completely. So it's not like when you swim in a pool here, your body is separate from the water. There, the water runs through your entire being, through each and every single essence. It was amazing. And then one day, I went out still exploring the dimensions in existence, and I came across this heaven. But there were quite extensive amounts of different heavens. I mean, we found little bubble heavens, where beings place themselves in these little bubbles and created their own heaven and just experienced themselves there. But this is a particular one, okay? She was referred to as the goddess of creation. Okay? Now, this one little boy took me to her because he said that what I am exploring in the dimensions, I can't just go wherever I want. I require permission. Are required to be locked in to their information database, so that they may always know where I am and what I'm doing. I said, why? What's going on? Why? I don't understand. I'm just exploring. Where is this coming from? I don't understand. Isn't anyone free to just do what they want? They said, no. Everyone is locked into a information database, and everyone is always known of their location and what they do in heaven. Every single one. Even on earth. And I said, well, who the hell is this? Why? I don't understand. And he said, no, I have to take you to her. She requested your presence before her. Now we're walking to this goddess. Now she was huge also. She had this big curly brown hair. I remember her breasts were very nice. Just an observation. She was really beautiful, interdimensionally. She had this brown curly hair. It's perfect presentation. She had this light shining out of her, the gold on top, and blue piercing eyes, sitting on this white throne with these golden handles, two guards standing next to her, dressed in light blue armor, but also like a metal shiny steel color. I was like walking up and I was going, okay, she's beautiful, but who is she? And so this little boy says, you must walk on your knees to this God. She's a goddess. She's the goddess of creation. If you look left and if you look right, you'll see there are the heavens in which beings experience themselves when they die. She is the one that hears human beings' prayer of where and what heaven they want to go to when they die, and their prayers are answered. That's not their death request, their death wish. They always speak about the death wish. You write yourself a death wish, but this is the real manifestation of a death wish. So if you prayed, God, please, I want to be with you, for instance, what you do is you prepare a heaven for a particular being with a specific signature of that being's signature. So when the being dies, the being immediately goes to that heaven and experiences themselves in that heaven. So standing there and I was looking at this and, it was odd. And she looked at me, she asked me, where do you come from? And where is your guide? And where's your angel? Didn't you have a guide or angel or master or something? How dare you give yourself permission to just do what you want in my creation? And all these things. And I said, why is this your creation? And she said, because Anu assigned me. And, well, if Anu assigned you, then how can this be your creation? So after, a few long conversations, I had her very well pissed off. And that's when I started seeing all the heavens and things. I went, but no, this can't be like this. These beings are missing. There were heavens where there were beings that were flowers. Just flowers. And there was a sun. And in this flower, and the sun was now the god, and these beings were flowers. Bizarre things. There were beings that were these little gremlin things, bopping around in bubbles the whole time, doing absolutely nothing but bopping around in bubbles into infinity. There were ones where, they were these little eels, floating around in a bubble. Strange things. Apparently human beings, death wish of a heaven they want to experience themselves when they die. There were beings that were painters and boxing, playing rugby, odd things in this one heaven of themselves. So I said, well, this is unacceptable. So I just said before, and I said, nope, I'm not going to have you do anything to me. I'm not going to get bloody allocation placement. You're not going to put me in your database because I'm not dead. So therefore, you're not able to put me in that database of yours, and you're not able to allocate me because I'm not a dimensional being. She said, no, that's impossible. And I said, yes, I left my body. There's another being in my body at the moment, and I'm here, so you can't do anything with me. The rules don't apply to me. And I'll do and explore what is necessary. And I'm giving feedback to human beings on Earth about what the hell's going on in this existence. Oh my God. And then she went and changed me into like this metal glass pot thing, collection she had there. On a huge table, she said, this is what happens to beings who dare disobey me. And I experienced myself as an actual pot, a metal pot. I was this pot. And I laughed because I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to remain like this if I believe myself to be this, really, and that she has the ability to change me in this. So what I did was I just stood up, and here I am, this is me. And she went, oh my God, you're a sorcerer, or where do you come from? You're just pie from another existence and all those things. And then I left. I just left, and I just looked at her and I said, I'm not going to allow you to do this. You need to set these beings free. And then she said, no, she refuses. So when I returned, I spoke to the beings here, to Eagle, I told them, this is what's happening. I saw all these heavens, we have to close them down. So we did. So she ceased to exist. Okay, thank you very much. This is Winged, and that's one of my experiences again.